Hello, I'm Maker410 and welcome to my channel where I focus on 3-inch revolvers and firearms chambered in the 410 bore shot shell. Let's check out today's video. Hello, and thanks for tuning in, everyone. In today's video, we're going to have a pretty chill session. We're going to be shooting a variety of regular 22 long rifle ammunitions, non-self-defense rounds, that you might carry for a variety of purposes in our Diamondback Sidekick with the bird's head grip and a 3-inch barrel. We're going to be shooting them across our chronograph to get the FPS that you'll actually be getting out of a 3-inch barrel. All 6 of our ammunitions, well, not all 6, but 4 of the 6 ammunitions list velocities that you won't get out of a revolver. They're velocities that are listed for rifle length barrels, and that's because it is 22 long rifle. Technically, it is designed to be shot out of a rifle. So that's kind of why we do these testings out of such a small kit gun. We'll be shooting them into the clay as usual and into the ballistics gel. Here's the rundown on them. So the 22 long rifle ammunition that we're going to use today is our Winchester Super X Power Point, which as far as I can tell is a copper washed hollow point, 40 grains with a listed velocity of 1280 FPS. Again, we won't get that out of a revolver. That's from a rifle length barrel. Then we have our SK rifle or match rifle lead round noses, no velocity listed. So I'll be curious to see what we get out of them because that's supposedly target ammo. And I imagine that's what people would use out of semi-auto 22 long rifle target pistols. And then we have 2 brands of Aguila, or 2 types of Aguila brand ammo. We have the Super Extra 40 grain, 1255 FPS is the listed speed, and it is just a copper wash solid point. Then we have the Aguila Super Maximum copper washed hollow points, 30 grains at 1700 feet per second. Again, we won't get that, but I'll be really curious to see how close we get to it, because that's pretty booking for a 22 long rifle. That's closer to 22 Magnum speeds. So, but again, at a lower grainage that you would get out of a 22 Magnum. So that'll be neat to see. Then we've got our Remington Subsonics 40 grain plated hollow points at 1050 feet per second. I don't really know why you would want a, we'll just see if there's any sort of expansion whatsoever out of the pistol at 1050 for a subsonic round. That'll be interesting too. I can see its use out of a rifle, out of a pistol. We'll see. And then lastly, we have our Armscore, which is a high velocity 40 grain, no listed velocity, solid point. Also appears to be copper washed. So yeah, those are 6 very basic non-self-defense rounds. We're going to shoot them out of the 3-inch barrel 22 long rifle revolver, because that's what a lot of people carry as a kit gun when they're bumming around out fishing or trapping or just sort of enjoying a walk in the woods, when they don't have to worry about any sort of like dangerous animals. And yeah, so we'll see what we get. Okay, everyone, real quickly here, we're just going to have a brief close-up of all the ammunition that we'll be shooting today, so that you guys can kind of see what we're working with. All right, let's get to the actual chronographing. Okay, everybody, I've got my eyes and ears on. I've got the Garmin chronograph dialed in, and I'm going to be taking 9 shots of each of these because they're 22 long rifles, so why not? And I'm going to do some shots down range at some steel targets. Nothing too fancy here. I got a big target and a little target, and I'll just sort of see if I can hit a little bit of both. Just as I feel like it, you know, doing this for fun. Did not catch that one. All right. We hit nicely, but... All right, let's see if we can hit again. All right, 847. $882. Give me a second, guys. I'm going to adjust my ears. Okay, that should be a little bit better. 882. Yeah, much better. 934.9. 836. 971. These are very nice, very mild, shooting exactly where I'm putting them. 978. 852. There's a big spread here. And 989. All right, our average was 911.4. So, a little bit more than 300 off from listed velocities. Those were stiff to get out. But that's a little bit more common when we are firing ammunition designed for rifles instead of revolver cylinders. I'm kind of imagining that we'll have similar results across the brands here. All right, let's get set up for the next one. Not terribly disappointing, to be honest. 911 feet per second isn't bad. Okay, man, I'm going to guess 40 grains for the match loads. I don't know if you guys can see that, if that's in frame or not. But some people like to see the cylinder loading. All right. We are dialed in. Let's see if those were as nice as the plain Super X. Oh, that's mild. Oh, yeah. Yeah, 614. Significantly less. 627.8. 672. Different odor for sure. Let's see, 525. 584. All right. That's all 9. Just as stiff to eject. Our average on that was 601. I was not expecting it to be that low, but that's because I'm not big into target shooting. I don't know that world. So I imagine with target shooting, you would want it to be just about as gentle of a loading as you could have. Next, we're loading up our Aguila. Oh, let's get out of here before I accidentally shoot in that session. We've got our Aguila Super Maximum Hollow Point. If these are going to expand, they're going to have to really be hauling even out of this small barrel. You know, and it's funny because you can shoot this stuff and you'll have wildly different feelings of recoil even within such a mild round to begin with. You know, the SK match rounds were significantly softer than the already soft Super X, Winchester Super X. All right, let's see how these Aguilas do. 1132, wow. 979, holy crap, that's a massive variation. 1018. Yeah, these are all over. 1086. Yeah, you can stage this double action trigger really nicely, which helps when it's so heavy. You know, these rimfire triggers, they're like 14 pounds. 879. Sorry, I'm not calling them off every time, guys. 1036. And 1099. Yeah, so 1013.4 is our average there. So, I mean, they're faster than the Winchester Super X, but they're not, man, these are all stiff on ejection. I mean, yeah, so the average on that is faster than the Winchester Super X, but, you know, not 500 feet faster. It's only 100 feet per second faster. So you can kind of see how much you're really losing performance-wise out of the revolver compared to what they advertise out of a rifle. All right, let's see another session here. Pistol. We are doing the Aguila Super Extra now. And these guys are solid points. And I imagine that they will probably be very similar to the Winchester Super X. The FPS that they have listed on the box is almost identical. The grainage is identical. I feel like these are comparable bullets between competitors here, or comparable loadings between competitors. All right, let's see what we get. 939, not off to a, or we're off to a pretty good start there. 899. 900. 892. These seem to be a little bit more consistent. As soon as I say that, 805, of course. 893. And 958. All right, so the average there was 902. Really close to the Winchester Super X's 911. Let's see, 902.4. All right. Yeah, that's stiff. I may have to do some cleaning out of those cylinders. I mean, they're getting dirty, but yeah, I mean, yeah. All right, so these are the Remington Subsonics. They are also 40 grain. Their speed is listed at 1050 feet per second. I'll be curious to see how different that is in a handgun. I really don't expect when we shoot any of these into clay or into ballistics gelatin to get any sort of expansion. I just don't think the numbers are high enough. Even that 1100 might not be fast enough to do it. All right, let's see what we get on our Subsonics. Well, that's nice. 783, okay. 701, 739.4, 680.3, 678.4, yeah, get really used to this double action trigger. It's not too bad. All right, so, oh, hey, those ejected nicely. That's good to know. All right, so the Remington had 726. Significantly more oomph than the match grade, but also significantly less than the standard stuff. All right, and lastly here, we are going to test out the Armscore high velocity salad point. No velocity is listed on the box. My guess is that it's probably similar to the Aguila salad point. Let's get out of here. All right, these are 40 grain as well. Man, you always feel so funny when you're talking with the hearing protection in it. Anyway, this has so far been a lot of fun. All of these have shot very nicely. Been relatively accurate as far as I can tell, considering how beat up the paint is on my targets. I'll have to get that resprayed before we shoot anything else. Anyway, let's see how these Armscore do. I've been pleased that so far we've had no light strikes. That's been great. 921. Oh, hey, it flipped the, well, not flipped, but it moved the little flapper there. 933.2. 943.6. 859.4. 863.9. And in case you guys are wondering, I'm at 10 yards for these steel targets. 939.3. 931.3. 922.2. And lastly, 913.8. Okay. Oof. Those guys did not want to come out. All right, well, so out of all of them, the Remingtons were the only ones that came out easily. And 913.8 is our average. Okay, that wasn't too terrible, folks. The performance is a little bit better than I thought it would be. I wasn't expecting anything to really be above 1,000 feet per second. But I also wasn't expecting the majority of this to be between 900 and 1,000 feet per second, which is what we got. And the only ones that weren't in that range were the match grade and the subsonics. So they were right where you would want them to be. That was fantastic. I enjoyed that. I'm going to switch on over now, and we'll get the Ballistics Gelatin set up and the clay. All right, thanks, guys. Okay, everybody. We are all set up for the gelatin testing now. We're going to shoot them in the same order. The Winchester, the SK, the Aguila hollow points, then the Aguila salad points, then the Remington, then the Armscore. So we're going to go Winchester, SK, Aguila, Remington, Armscore. We're pretty close, mostly because stacking all these is not the easiest thing when you're still as new to shooting as I am. All right. That was our first shot with the Super X. That was our SK. Here is our first Aguila. This is our Super Maximum Hollow Point. Woo! That one had a lot of powder that wasn't fully burned. That makes sense. I don't want to accidentally dip it down. All right, next is our second Aguila with the solid point. This is our Remington Subsonic. This is the one I'm most curious about. And this is the Arms Core. All right. Let's see how that worked. Okay, so, wow. All right. Take you guys with me here. All right, so our Arms Core veered, or not our Arms Core, our Winchester Super X veered out of the gel. We're going to take, you guys can see that here, went off to the side. I'm going to see if I can't get a second shot, because that initial channel there looks very interesting. Let me get you guys set back up and do another shot. Okay, guys, this is a reshoot of the Winchester Super X because it did so well before it disappeared. So we're going to aim for like here. Okay, yeah, we caught it that time. All right, let me bring you around. Okay, folks, sorry about that. So, let's see here. I got a lot of glare. This track right here, that is the Winchester Super X. Underneath that, down here is the Aguila. Then, right here's our match. Sorry. Our match. Very basic. This is our Aguila Super Maximum. That's disappointing, especially in comparison to the Winchester, especially in comparison to the Winchester Super X. Now the most interesting, I don't know if you guys can see this, but in the bottom center here, all the way along to back there, is our Remington Subsonic. So it went the furthest. And then finally we have the Arms Core, which is a little hard to see. It's down there. All right, so I'm going to measure these out and just kind of call them. All right, so the Winchester Super X, the one we had to shoot twice, made it to 9 1/4 inches. The SK match ammunition, 5 1/4 inches. Well, 6 inches with bounce back. The Aguila Super Maximum, 5 1/2 inches, 6 1/2 inches with bounce back. The Aguila solid point did 9 1/2 inches. The Remington Subsonic did a foot, did 12 inches. And then the Arms Core did 7 inches. All right. That's pretty much what I was expecting performance-wise out of these guys. Because they're not self-defense ammunition and they're all designed to be shot out of rifles, not out of a pistol. You know, they're designed for 16, 17, 18, 20-inch barrels, not a 3-inch. So now we're going to get set up for the clay. We'll have it in our porcupine box, and we will see what kind of displacement, clay displacement we get out of each of these. My guess is that it's just going to be a straight line, sort of an ice pick, for pretty much all of them. Okay, folks, we're all set up here for the porcupine box with the clay deformation testing. And so we're going to shoot them in the same order. We're going to do the Winchester Super X, SK match rifle, Aguila hollow point, Aguila solid point, Remington subsonic, and then our Arms Corps solid point. I'm expecting ice picking straight back style penetration and deformation of the clay on all of these. I don't expect any of them to penetrate both blocks of clay. Both blocks of clay have been kept at 40 degrees since they've been remelted, and we'll see how we go from here. And it's plastilina clay, in case anyone is curious. This is our Winchester Super X. This is our SK rifle match. This is our Aguila hollow point Super Maximum. This is our Aguila solid point. This is our Remington subsonic. And this is our Arms Corps solid point. Let's take a look. Oh, okay. So, I don't know how well you guys can see this, but that is our Winchester Super X, our match point, our Aguila Super Extra. You can see it's got the widest mouth. We have our Aguila solid point, our Remington subsonic, and let's see, that is our Arms Corps. I'm not getting it on camera well, but that one actually penetrated. There we go. That one penetrated all the way through the block and was caught. Let's see, where am I? Caught right there in the second block. So, nothing too unexpected there. That's a little funny. The Match King, that guy popped out the back. So, nobody else showed all the way through. And if you guys hang around to the end of the video, I will get plaster pictures or pictures of the plaster castings that I'll do of each of these. And you guys will be able to see the bullets collected both from the clay and in the ballistics gelatin. Thank you guys very much for joining me. This was a lot of fun. And if you hang in here for just a few moments, you'll be able to see a summary of all the data that we collected today across all 6 .22 long rifle bullets. Have a good day, guys. Bye.